Breakfast puppies?
This podcast contains adult language and content and is meant for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Glitterbois.
All right, everybody, welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to talk about what we want to accomplish here on the Glitterbois podcast.
Some might say our mission.
Our mission statement, our prospectus, if you will. We both have this huge love for this game, this system of games, and it's that they're all connected through this nexus called Rifts, and it's just that there's nothing like it. This is the only game of this type. Like there's a million versions of D&D, there's a million versions of all these different games, but there's only one Palladium system. And the Palladium system is a system of such breadth and such scope and such vision that it really stands all on its own. There's nothing that even comes close to it. And the purpose of this episode is to try, it's our love letter to the system. And we hope to bring you along with that, because if you've never played before, hopefully this will get you going.
And not just the system, but the worlds, the everything about them. They're such rich, imaginative settings that have an incredible amount of detail in them, where the writer, Kevin, very frequently, just like put a pencil to paper and just started writing. And then, 3 days later, woke up from a fever dream and they had a new book kind of stuff. It's some amazing world building, some amazing settings. They have some amazing writers, and I don't see enough people talking about them, and I want to start spreading more of this love that we have.
How many systems are there of D&D? There's 5.
Oh, well, more than that.
Yeah, I mean, but like 5 official editions?
Well, no, even more than that, because, you've got the advanced first and second,
right.
Then you've got third, fourth, and fifth, but you've also got like 5 or 6 different official variants of old school Dungeons and Dragons. And then, 4th edition itself also had a branch off edition, if not 2. And then you've got the spin-off games like Pathfinder, Dungeon Crawl Classics, all of the OSR games, which kind of, repeat a lot of the same formula.
Yeah.
And that's just D&D.
You can still play Rifts. You can still play any of these, and they're still working within the system, which I like, because once you buy a book, that book is bought. That book is added to your library, and it's still playable. The concept of trying to remaster everything for a new system, to repackage it, to resell it to you. How many versions of Dritz do you need? I mean,
I would prefer none, but that's, me.
That's a different story. That's the point, is that there's such a huge library and it's all still valid. I think the only thing that's ever changed with this is I want to say the indexes, and they did release a new base edition, which just cleaned it up. Yeah. But it didn't change things really.
There are multiple editions of a few of the lines, like the Fantasy has a first and second, and Beyond the Supernatural has a second edition. They updated a Recon to more modern combat, and Rifts had an Ultimate or second edition released in 2005. Mechanically, a lot of the older stuff needs to be filtered through a lens of conversion, hence the existence of their conversion books. Yeah. But it is a fantastic set of worlds where you can go through any older book, grab something, port it into Rifts or into another setting that is a Palladium game with very minimal tweaking required to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever wanted to have a mech fight a dragon in any other system, you're talking about a gnome and steam and just radically odd rules. In Rifts and Palladium, it's just, that's Tuesday.
Yeah. We really want other people to feel this love. And there are some online communities for Palladium. I've actually in this year joined 2 more that I did not even know existed. There are, of course, the forums. The forums are kind of old school. I've seen a lot of...
I like that old BBS kind of feel to them.
It does. I've seen a lot of rather grumpy fights happen there, so I tend to stay away with some of the conversations in the forums. We want to focus on the positive. Now, I know Palladium has a bit of a muddied history. A lot of people have their opinions on the rules systems. The rules aren't up to a lot of modern design standards. There's a lot of inconsistencies, and sometimes it's hard to find the information that you want because it took a long time for Palladium books to adapt to an online world. But I feel that that's getting better now, and I feel that they have embraced digital distribution. They have embraced having a website with an extensive set of frequently asked questions. And Kevin, bless his heart, sends out an email to a mailing list like twice a week. And it's just lots and lots and lots of stuff that he wrote. And I'm like, how does he find the time for this?
If I could have 1/10 of the energy that Kevin has, I would probably be in public office right now.
It's...
The man is a monster. He is.
We mean that in a good way, for the record.
No. I mean, he is a force of role playing energy. He's elemental in his work. I wanted to talk about this probably in a future episode, but there's something magical about putting your touch on so many different products. Mm-hmm. I mean, all of them were guided by him. It's his vision. And I think that's just amazing.
Yeah. And they've had their ups and downs over the years, but they're still here. And love it or hate it, the system is still the same system. Like you said, Matthew, you can grab your old books and grab new books and just fucking mix them together and make magic. And it's wonderful.
I mean, Recon looks like it was written on a typewriter. The original Recon that I have.
A lot of the older stuff was manually laid out. Like when people say copy paste or cut and paste, literally cutting and pasting things together.
There was whiteout used, for God's sakes. But I mean, that's the amazing part, is that it's still there and it's still playable. A little work is probably has to be done around the edges, but I love that about this system, that once you have it, it's there. Yeah, and it's you're not going to rebuy, every 4 or 5 years, as they say. How can we repackage this? What new artists can we put on?
Yeah, you don't have to rebuy the core rules every 5 to 8 years.
God, I hate that. Like, I have this huge library of 3.5 D&D, and I can't find anyone to play it with me. God damn it.
Yeah, that is a problem that I have as well with a lot of the newer editions of older games. Like, when we were discussing topics for this particular episode, you had mentioned something about Shadowrun, and we'll do system conversions and discussions further down the line, but Shadowrun is a prime example of this. I started playing Shadowrun in 1st edition, and then I got 2nd edition, and then I played 3rd edition, and then I played 4th edition, and then after 4 editions, I was like, I'm done. I'm good. I've got what I want.
How much do you have to buy the same books too? I mean, it's what one of the things that has always kept my loyalty to Palladium is that I can explore further instead of rebuying the same thing in order to stay current. Like, I can buy all the books about Atlantis or Phase World or something else instead of going back and trying a new core system for whatever the new price is.
Yeah.
You can go further. Your library grows. It doesn't shrink and become obsolete. And does it grow?
Oh my God. I have gigs of Palladium PDFs. I have 4 and growing on now 5 shelves of Palladium physical books. One of those IKEA expedite shelves, cubbies. I've got 4 cubbies of those. It's going to the 5th because I think I finally reached maximum capacity of my first Rifter cubby.
Yeah, that's just one thing I like about Palladium. I mean, there's so many other things. I mean, like, when you find a Palladium fan, that's an amazing thing, because there's a shared set of it's almost like a secret club. We should have a handshake.
I actually
some sort of code word.
I actually had that exact experience in high school. I moved to a new high school my senior year.
Yeah.
And at that high school, I hadn't quite made enough friends yet. I had friends who went to that high school the year before, but they were all a grade older and just graduated. So I'm in my senior year at a new high school, no friends. Everyone has been going to school together already for years. they've got connections. It's very difficult to penetrate a new circle of friends. And then I was at a party and I saw this group of, guys wearing black and trench coats and smoking on the other side of the pool. And I go to talk to them and I forget how the conversation went, but somebody said something about like, oh yeah, Phase World. And I was like, bing, y'all are talking Palladium. And dude who eventually became one of my best friends just goes, mofo, join the conversation. And at that point, we just started playing Palladium all the time.
Yeah. There's levels, and I don't want to rank it or anything, but there is a rabbit hole you can go down with role-playing games. I mean, you have your surface, it's like, yeah, I play Fable, or, I play D&D, but when you start digging down into the good stuff, when you find someone else that plays Palladium, that's a good person. That's someone who is dedicated.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Palladium is not easy. It is more approachable than it used to be, but Palladium is a huge thing. And when you find someone who's knowledgeable and into it, that is someone you want in your world.
And I have strong opinions on the easiness. Is that a word?
It is
on
now.
the supposed complexity of Palladium systems. As we've seen from this last year of playing in multiple campaigns, Palladium has its difficulties, but I think that a lot of other internet forums, more popular RPG forums, kind of crap on the game unfairly. There are some valid complaints. There are valid criticisms, and I will not deny them, and we will talk about them later. This show will be mostly positive, but there will be times where we openly critique.
It's from a place of love, though. It's constructive criticism.
Exactly. Yeah, 100% constructive. That's our hope, because I feel that the system is a lot more approachable than some people give it credit for. And because of that, I want to encourage new discussions of Palladium games. Yeah. I want to bring in new players of Palladium games, but I also want us to maybe get existing players to look at them in different ways. Think of new ways to expand or to grow your home games. Bring a new talent to the table.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think with the advent of COVID and everyone kind of moving to this online presence, like the amount of role playing that people are doing has it's skyrocketed. It's gone through the roof. This is the most popular that the tabletop hobby has ever been, is right now.
Agreed.
And I think that during this really strange time that the whole world's going through, that people should understand that there's more out there and richer, bigger worlds than just, we're going to go play 5e. There is so much more out there. And it really goes by name. Yeah. Yeah, it's called Riffs. Check it out. Just give a little nod over Zoom. Yeah, Riffs, man. The first taste is free, but after that, you got to pay.
Yeah, just, step through the sleigh line nexus and unleash your imagination, bruh. Kind of stuff.
Yeah. One thing I always liked about some of the old art of Riffs was that it was an incredibly, when they were doing the how to play area, it was always, and this is for all Palladiums, it was always an incredibly positive way to put it. And we're talking late 80s, early 90s. Like, they were really ahead of the time then. It was very inclusive in ways that other games weren't yet. I mean, it wasn't all like male pronouns and stuff. It was like they used she before everyone was using she or they.
We'll have to dig into that. I have opinions on some of the ways that women are portrayed in Palladium books that I know I'm not alone in those opinions. I think that will be a good topic for later discussion. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's so much to say and so much to talk about, but I think this about brings us to the close of this one. I'd like to thank you all for listening, and if you probably have an old copy, if you're listening to this podcast, you already like gaming, you have a copy somewhere. Pick it up, flip it. You might be surprised at what you find. And they're still producing stuff for it, still in the same system, and it's still good. So get back in there, crack that book. You got anything else, Nathaniel?
I'm good. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
You've been listening to The Glitterbois, a Palladium Books fan podcast. Glitterbois, Rifts, the Megaverse, and all other such topics are the property of Kevin Siembieda and Palladium Books. Please buy all their stuff and help keep them in print and making more games. You can order directly at palladiumbooks.com, and their entire catalog is available digitally at Drive-Thru RPG as well. Our opening music is 8-Bit Bass and Lead by Furby Guy from freesound.org. This closing music is Caravana by Philip Gross, available at freemusicarchive.org. All sound effects used are self-made or acquired via Creative Commons Zero license. If you like what you have heard, find us on Twitter and Facebook as The Glitterbois. That's BOIS. And check us out online at breakfastpuppies.com/glitterboys. And also join us on the Breakfast Puppies Network Discord at breakfastpuppies.com/discord. And if you want to help us out, please spread the word and help us build a community. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time.